I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. The winter edition, as it's gotten really cold pretty much everywhere. Yes, even here in Texas, so hate it, fucking hate it. But I figured to sit down and do a couple reviews. This is for Charles Turner. It's a paid request. Thank you so much for that. If anyone's ever interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, you could send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now this is for Take Me from 2017, which I had never heard of. It stars and is directed by the same guy, Pat Healy, who I don't know much about. And the premise is he runs a business where clients pay him for the experience of a simulated kidnapping. And apparently this is a thing that happens in the real world, so they based it off that. And this is a guy that, yeah, he's in this business, he entrepreneur, independent business, but he's a very, I don't want to say goofy character, but he's, I would almost say harmless in the fact of, you know, he's not like a, I don't know, like his demeanor, like he's trying to get a loan at a bank, and the music itself is very light and airy, and that's what it plays out. It's more of a comedy than thriller or any of that aspect. Because this kind of premise could be a horror film, but it does play off more of a comedy, maybe black comedy. One of the early stages is that there's this overeater who's contracted our lead to stage an aggressive intervention, and these simulated kidnappings last about 8 hours. So during this time he's told to make this guy hopefully stop overeating and force him to eat burgers while tied up, and you know the guy's like, oh, thank you for that, man. And his business is called Kidnap Solutions. But then one day he gets a phone call from this lady. This lady says, I know you only do 8-hour things, but I want a full weekend. And I don't know, it'll be $5,000. And yeah, I liked his, I thought Pat Healy did a good job acting-wise. That's one of the things that I did appreciate about the film. And, you know, just how excited he gets over this. And then she's like, oh, I also want hitting. What? I want slapping, I want hitting. I don't know if I can do that. And then she's like adamant about it, and it's like, okay. Now I know some reviewers say this is a tense film. I don't know if I would say I ever found it suspenseful, because for the most part the score is fairly cartoonish and light, that any amount of tension is dissipated because of that. And Pat Healy, I will say something about him. He could be William Sadler's brother. William Sadler from Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. He played Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the bad guy in Die Hard 2. William Sadler. This guy, if you told me he was William Sadler's brother, or you played William Sadler's brother in a movie, I could buy it. Because there's a certain resemblance between the two. So he picks up this girl, played by Taylor Schilling. I thought she did a good job too. And she made it believable. And he's even talking in the mirror, our lead, going, she's a fucking pro, you've got this, she's a pro at this. And she'll be crying, then she'll be mocking him. But then things start to go awry, where there's the news, and the woman is missing. He gets stabbed in the back a bit. He's like, what's wrong with you? He tries to call it off. Wait, there's something up. The cops stop by. She goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he's like, what? Was I set up? Did someone set me up? And the movie goes on from there. And you're questioning, is it a setup? Is this all part of the act? What's all happening here? And you find out by the end. And like I said, I thought, for the most part, the film was an interesting enough premise. It succeeds or fails based on the two leads, and I thought they did a fairly good job. I thought they made the film work. Now, I'm not sure this is a premise that can hold your attention for 80 minutes. It's only 80 minutes. But even at 80 minutes is pushing it. I mean, this is a premise that maybe works half the running time. And I don't know, just one of those things, like, for 80 minutes, you go, because it's kind of just this repeated back and forth. Where, kids is supposed to be this elevation of what's going on here. At one point, she shoots him with the pellet gun. He's like, I can't let you leave, and he swallows the keys. And then he immediately regrets it. He tries to puke you out, and he can't. And then they tell a little bit of their story about their ex-wives or ex-husbands, and like I said, I do think the two leads really help this film work for what it is. Yeah, the lead guy, some of his reactions, like when he gets hit with the pellet gun. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. That is pretty humorous, pretty funny. And this is a film that could work as a play, as in there's really not much locations. There's a couple of peripheral characters. There's the overeater client at the beginning. There's the lead character's sister who doesn't approve of the business he's in. A couple other little characters that pop up, like the cops that appear for a little bit. But for the most part, it's these two people. And I did not mind the ending. Spoiler alert for the ending. Spoilers. What you come to find out is this was all part of the act, in her perspective. Because she keeps pushing him to hit her. He doesn't want to. He ultimately does. Even almost chokes her. He stops. He gets knocked out. He just put her in a trunk. He's let go. And then she's all happy. Oh, wow, thank you. It was great. You can drop the act now. The scenario is done. It's been 2 days. And he's just confused. And he's like, I'm really impressed with how in-depth your service went. I apologize. Sometimes I really get into the role play. And you realize for her, it was all part of the service. For him, he's like... And she even offers him a business plan if he wants to continue this. And as an audience member, I'm kind of with the guy, like, because there's things she does is very questionable. I mean, there's, stabbing him in the back. That's very questionable. At one point, she knocks him out by hitting him with like a shovel or something in the back of the head. That could easily kill someone. So, I guess she thought he was such a pro that he read every single thing about it. Which wasn't the thing. Of course, as I'm doing this, the light comes up. But I like the very end of the film where he sees the guy who was the overeater, and he's eating again, and he's very sad, and he gets closer, and he sees that the guy's eating salad. So, in a way, his business works. And then the guy like gets this goofy smile on his face, and then we move on. I just like giving him a purpose, like, oh wow, this actually does work. As apparently God himself agrees, because he let there be light, as it now dissipates a little bit. So I guess God he's given his approval to this movie. But okay, you can start with the lighting, man. Maybe I turn this down a little bit. Maybe a little bit. But yeah, with that said, if the premise at all interests you, if you watch the trailer and it interests you, don't expect a lot of big thrills, chills. It's not that kind of movie. Like I said, I don't know if this necessarily works as an 80-minute film. I think it would work more as a short film. I don't think there's enough there for 80 minutes. But the two leads make it at least worth a watch. There were a couple moments that did make me chuckle. And, there's a good minute or two I'm wondering, where is this going? Is it this or is it this? And I thought the ending was kind of satisfying. I didn't mind the ending, so. Technical details, fairly basic. This is a basic... It's not like a lot of intricate camera movements or editing or any of the sort to talk about on that front. Fairly basic but okay direction. Because it was all an act from the Taylor Schilling character, I'm never quite sure like what she said was true or not true when she's given more info about herself. I'm guessing we're supposed to believe that was true, and maybe a little bit more character development, but I don't know how you would put that without ruining the idea, the plot behind it. But overall, not a bad film, not a bad flick. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.